I would request to Amir Hayat Bandara, just introduce yourself, and then please just let us know that how you are taking actions for this climate, because I heard that you are the farmer and you are the voice of farmer, as Anika said that the farmers are the just in the part of policy making. So how you feel that, what is going on here in Pakistan, and how you are feeling that? Yeah, please hand it over to you. Please unmute your speaker. Yeah.
I think. Can you hear me now? Okay. First of all, we thank you very much for arranging such a very, very important session today. And I'm in my village, and you better understand how poor internet connections are here. So please bear if there is some technical voice issues with it. Thank you very much, Nadia. And I don't know who was the first speaker, but that was a very nice presentation. The lady was giving us examples of Australian agriculture and Australian farm. But thanks to that lady, that was in fact a wonderful presentation. But as a Pakistani farmer living in the rural settings of South Punjab, our situation is a bit different from the developed world in context of climate change scenario. Well, are there any farmers as well here? Should I go bilingual or should I continue with English, Omera?
I think you can continue with English, because after that we will translate for those. Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, if I just talk about climate change, our farmers have a very limited information or understanding about the changing climate. They are actually experiencing the problems, the patterns of weather, how the average weather patterns are being changed, but they actually do not know the real phenomena what we, the speakers or the technical scientists, call it climate change. Just give you an overview of Pakistan's agriculture sector. Pakistan is basically, more than 200 million population and agriculture economy. 80% are small landholders, and most of the income is relying on agriculture, farming, and definitely this sector is providing more than 45% of employment to the total labor force of the country. And this is also a fact that the most important victim of climate change is farmer and the rural communities. Most of the affected people who are from the livestock and agriculture sector are living in the rural areas. Like you can say that in Pakistan, we the farmers are facing some visible impacts of climate change in terms of new diseases. Our cropping patterns have been changed in last more than a decade. The yields are reducing, and on and off there are some immediate impacts that we can see in form of hailstorms and unpredicted rains. And like we are just recently, like Nadia was telling us, that during the COVID-19 our wheat harvesting is on its peak now, but we are facing another other challenge, that is the pre-monsoon rains, another spell which we were not aware of just half of the decade ago. The rains are continuing, which we usually see it before February, the winter rains, and I am calling it the pre-monsoon, that is now affecting our agriculture sector, and particularly our wheat now. A few of areas are being affected with the hailstorm as well. Now, this is actually, if I just quote you the example of wheat here, this year currently Pakistan's expected wheat yield was around 26 million tons. But due to these rains, I am feeling that we will decrease in this yield by approximately 1 million ton in future. That will in fact challenge our food security, our national food security in Pakistan. I'm afraid of this scenario. And on the other hand, the first speaker was telling us about the impacts of climate change. Definitely, that those are on water as well. That is on our land as well. But here in Pakistan, I'd like to include the gender scenario here as well, because in Pakistan, most of the practices are being done by hand. Nadia and we worked together on. I was a part of that seminar in the who was discussing about the climate change and the climate smart agriculture practices. 80% agriculture practices are done by women, from sowing to harvesting, because it is without mechanical most of the areas, because more than 80% of small landholders, so they do not have much money to adapt. And the people who know about climate change and adaptation to climate change costs always higher. And our farmer, Pakistani farmer or the South Asian farmer, is not as much rich to buy expensive tools for the climate smart agriculture practices. Same here, and other thing jump, and that is water. Water is the most important, I think, segment of the natural resources being touched by the climate change subject. But here, everyone who is using water have a different view on it. Well, I have abundant water in Pakistan, in my area, so I am using my own lens to utilize whatever I want to do with water, I can do. But if you go to Sindh, the Kohistan area, there women are the key stakeholders to even fetch water for their households and travel miles away to collect that water on foot. So in Pakistan, no doubt Pakistan's contribution to GHG emissions is very, very low. But the impact of climate change in Pakistan is rather more higher than its contribution to GHG. So Pakistani farmer, we the farmers are most important victim of climate change. But unfortunately, we are not properly supported by the government, you can say, or by the organization properly to adapt in a proper way to do something more better and productive for the agriculture sector.
Okay,
I think
thank
my
you so
time
much.
is over, or if you want to speak
No,
more,
I
I
think
can.
we have more speakers as well, and we would love that
Sure,
more questions we can do.
that's why I thought to
But
close
I
it in
really
time.
appreciate those points you have just highlighted as a farmer here. So we would Amir. Okay.
Essen Saab, actually, thank you very much, Essen Saab, for jumping into the discussion and make it more productive. I believe you have raised some very, very important 2, 3 points. I discussed few while discussing my viewpoint. Uh, we are actually, if I say that we may not have authentic data here in Pakistan in context of agriculture. Amar Shah or Nadia, you may tell us better on data point of view. But I think uh, personally, I'm not very much sure that how much acres exactly we have of wheat sown in Pakistan. I am not
Yes,
sure. I have asked many people, and I am not sure that we have an authentic numbers of harvesters available in Pakistan with any organization. Number and another thing I would like to tell you that we in Pakistan we have a very different scenario. Like if we are going for wheat harvest, I think Anila was telling us about the social and financial contribution of the women farm workers. I was reading some facts that in Pakistan, 74% labor force is highly unconventional and non-formal without any contract. And you know, as you are a villager, I'm a villager, most of the people actually just reap the wheat crop to collect grains for their annual food purpose. And majority of the people actually is supporting people to cut through hand. It is very difficult, and it is again very difficult if we are facing the pre-monsoon rains, the unusual rains while we are facing, because it highly needs a machinery which we are lacking, which we do not have really. So there are several problems running all together in context of agriculture and farming scenario. You are very right. that we have no proper representation in assemblies. We have no proper representation in the policy making process. Like, I just want to add a single comment and we'll be ending because time is very short. We we have 33% of women sitting in the parliament. It was to give representation to the women in policy making process of Pakistan. I just want to know how many real farmers, how many real farm workers, or how many real laborers are sitting in the benches of the assemblies, even in the Senate or the provincial or the National Assembly. I think there will be no real small farmer or any laborer or any I don't know if there would be any, because
Yeah,
we
that's
really
why.
need we really need proper representation of every segment in the assembly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
Uh,
Amit.
yes, just yes, just to add to the